That's the recording started, convener.
Thank you. Okay. Could I ask the clerk just to outline for the recording the members present, and then we'll come on to apologies.
Okay, this morning the members present are yourself, Councillor John McNaughton, Councillor Cathy McEwen, Councillor Audrey Doig and Councillor Sam Mullen.
Thank you. And do we have any apologies?
I have apologies from Councillor Neil Graham, Councillor Lisa Marie Hughes, Councillor Janice MacDonald, Councillor Kevin Montgomery and Councillor Andy Steele.
Okay, thank you. And do we have any declarations of interest? Don't see any, so we'll just move straight on to item 1, which is renewal of late hours catering licence. So 1A is Motor Fuel Limited at Elderslie Service Station. Douglas, could you introduce this, please?
Certainly, convener. Item 1A, an application for renewal of a late hours catering licence for Motor Fuel Limited. They are seeking a renewal of what they already have. Their hours are out with policy, but they've had those hours since 2019. And on that basis, we've simply brought the matter to board as a non-site item because we can't deal with it as officers. There has been no adverse comments.
Okay, thank you. Douglas, any questions from members? I don't see any. It's fairly straightforward, and I would recommend that we agree. I would move that we agree the renewal. Members agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you. That takes us straight on to the next one, which is another non-site at 1B, which is BP Service Station at Greenock Road. Douglas?
Thank you, convener. The circumstances are more or less identical. Again, it's a non-site item. The hours have been enjoyed since September 2021.
Okay, thank you, Douglas. Any questions from members? I don't see any. Again, fairly straightforward. I would move that we agree the renewal in this case. Members agreed?
Agreed.
It's agreed. Thank you. Takes us on to item 2. Douglas.
Yeah, I can advise board members, convener, that in respect of item 2, the application that's for Sandip Singh, a new operator's licence, has been withdrawn. That's simply for noting.
Okay, thank you, Douglas. We'll note that, which gives us straight on to item 3, which is a renewal. Mr. Baiju Paul, he's in the lobby. Could we have him in to the meeting, please?
Yes, I'll admit him now, convener. Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Paul. That's you admitted to the meeting.
Good morning, Mr. Paul. It's Councillor John McNaughton here. I'm the convener to the board, and I'm just going to ask Douglas Campbell, pass you over to him. He's the legal advisor to the board, and Douglas will outline the procedure that we'll be following. Douglas.
Thanks, convener. Good morning, Mr. Paul. You've been asked to come to the Regulatory Functions Board today in relation to your application to renew your private hire car licence. In respect of that application, I understand the position to be, as set out in your citation and the attached correspondence, that your license, sorry, your previously licensed vehicle, SA18GBZ, you no longer have. And I think you've not had that vehicle since around November, from what I understand from the correspondence. So the council is prohibited from granting an application unless satisfied that a vehicle is suitable for use in terms of its design, size, etc., and that there's suitable insurance for it. And obviously, if you haven't got the vehicle, then obviously that's a factor that the board has to look at today. Are there any preliminary issues that you want to raise, Mr. Paul, before the convener asks you to speak about your application specifically? Obviously, there are no other parties in your case. It's simply a matter that, that the board has to follow the legal requirements in considering your application. So do you understand why you're here? You understand the procedure, which will just basically be you'll have your chance to address the councillors in these circumstances. They might have questions for you, and then you'll have a chance to sum up before the councillors make a decision.
Situation why I'm here. I sold my car.
Sorry, Mr. Paul, could you speak up a bit? You're very faint.
I just sold my car 15th of November last year. So I was went for a holiday after that. When I come back, I couldn't make a car. I mean, couldn't find a car for myself because of some personal circumstances changes. So and I looking to buy an electric car, but the the support scheme was changed to just stop the support scheme for the funding for the electric car. So I'm still waiting to hopefully waiting for the next update from the government. So it will take another couple of months to get any updates from the government for an electric car. So that's why I couldn't find a car. So if I get a couple of months time more, I can produce a car with valid insurance. Otherwise, you can revoke the insurance. You can apply for a new one after when I get my new car.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Paul. Douglas, could I maybe just for clarification here, if we're obviously not in a position to grant this at this stage, if we refuse it, does Mr. Paul have an opportunity to come back? When would he be able to reapply?
Yeah, there's after refusal, there's normally a period of a year you have to wait, but that's if if there's no material change of circumstances, convener. So if he is able to say there's been a material change of circumstances, he's now got a car, and then he could obviously apply, in those circumstances. His application was received by the council on the 3rd of August this year. So obviously, the board has to make a decision on the application before the summer recess, subject to any extension from the Sheriff Court, of course. But that is the position we're in. So there's not an unlimited period for the board to determine this matter now.
Okay, are there any questions for Mr. Paul?
No.
Okay, I don't see any questions. Mr. Paul, I think the issue for us is just the timescale that's involved, and if you were definite about purchasing a new vehicle in a couple of months, then I think the board might be minded just to continue the matter for a couple of months. But as Douglas Campbell has advised, we're obliged, given the timescale, to deal with this before the summer recess. So could you give us maybe an idea of the likelihood of you buying another vehicle?
I'm looking to buy an electric car, so I can. I'm looking to buy next month, actually. I mean, in April, and somehow, if something happened, it will take another couple of weeks, so I can produce my car at some point in May or April.
Okay, well, in view of those that reassurance, I'm minded to move that we continue this item to allow Mr. Paul an opportunity to purchase a new vehicle. Are members agreed?
Agreed.
That's agreed, thank you. Douglas?
Thanks. Mr. Paul, your application has been continued by the board. Just for clarification, the council normally only gets 9 months to make a final decision on an application. Because your application was made in August last year, there were still some COVID-19 rules in place, which meant the council's got 12 months for your application. So however, that does mean, because our last meeting of the board before the summer recess is in June, then the last scheduled meeting we've got to refer to is in June. And obviously we have to go through the procedure, send your citation letter and so forth. So it is really important that you get whatever car that meets policy. It doesn't have to necessarily be an electric one, but if you want to, obviously the board to grant you your renewal, then that's the background that you're up against. So it's obviously in your interest to make sure you get your car as soon as possible and get your change of vehicle application applied for, get your insurance, because the board needs to know you've got a suitable vehicle and insurance to be able to grant your renewal. Do you understand that? That concludes
Yeah.
matters for today, and you'll get another letter inviting to come back to a future meeting.
Okay. That's cool. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Paul, thank
Yep.
you for your attendance, and you can leave the meeting now.
Thank you.
And that takes us on to the rest of the items, which will be in excluding the press and public. Could we agree to exclude the press and public for the remaining items of business?
Agreed.
It's agreed. Thank you.
Mr. Paul, you can leave now.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Have a good day.
Okay, that's him going.
Okay, so recording stopped.
We're just doing that.